Welcome back to Life's Chillent. My name is Avital, and this week's Parshat is Parshat Nasso. Parshat Nasso shares the unique story about the laws pertaining to the sota, the wayward wife. So what that is, the sota, is a woman who is suspected of having committed adultery. Essentially what happened is the Torah tells us that her husband had previously suspected that she was committing adultery, maybe she'd had some inappropriate behavior with another man. And the husband told her not to have interactions with this man anymore. But now, yet again, he's suspecting us. The Torah tells us he becomes jealous. The Torah is telling us that, once again, it's suspected that this woman was committing adultery with this man. So what happens, the Torah tells us, is the man shall bring his wife to the Kohen. So the man would bring his wife to the Kohen, to the tabernacle, temple, in their respective times. And the Kohen would go through a rather extensive, invasive process to find out whether this woman had committed adultery or not. And it's important to note that the woman didn't have to go through this process. Oral tradition, oral Torah, teaches us that the woman could have told her husband that she wasn't willing to go to the Kohen. And in that case, she would have had to receive a bill of divorce, a get, from her husband, that their marriage was over. So it's clear that their marriage, when they are going to the Kohen, already is not in a good place. He suspects her of committing adultery. They're really at this breaking point. If she doesn't go, they're getting a divorce. This is This is the ultimatum of all the ultimatums. And so they would go through this process, and the Kohen would then be able to determine whether or not she had committed adultery or she had not committed adultery. And if she had not committed adultery, their marriage would resume. And at least he would know, and they would know, that they were both faithful within their marriage. It's a really difficult passage and story to read, especially as it describes what the woman has to go through, the suspected adulteress. But what I really gained from this Parsha, from Parshat Nasso, and from this interaction about the sota, is what happened when the husband and the wife went to the Kohen together. Again, they were at this point of contention in their marriage where it was either we get help or our marriage is over. They had already worked it out. They had been in this circumstance before. The husband had asked his wife not to be with this man again, and here she was with this man again. There was a lack of trust. There was a lack of faith. They weren't working together and communicating as a team any longer. Their marriage was really on the rocks. And so what did the husband do? He took his wife and they went to the Kohen. They sought third-party help. They got somebody from the outside to be able to look at the situation and go through this process to determine whether or not something had happened, and at the end they come to a resolution and are able to continue, or they have to get a divorce. And what it really is, it's like marriage counseling in a sense. The husband and the wife come with their problems, they can't solve them any longer, and so they go and they seek help from a third party. And I think that example in the Torah of having an issue that you can't resolve on your own and going to a spiritual counselor or to a therapist or somebody who can guide you is such a valuable instance in the Torah, an example. It sets a precedent for what we should do within our marriages, within our other relationships, and for ourselves. If we are at a point where we have already tried things in the past and we're not getting any progress and we need help from somebody else, we're at this breaking point, at this ultimatum, then we go to the Kohen, we go to our guide, and we get that additional assistance. And I think that is a really beautiful and important message that we're learning from Parshat Nasso. It doesn't even have to get to the breaking point for us. We can take this marriage as the example where they were at the breaking point and say, let's not get there. Let's seek help before we reach the breaking point. So again, whether it's within marriages or relationships, friendships, family dynamics, or for ourselves, go and seek that third-party help when you need it so that you don't get to that breaking point. I hope we can all learn this really beautiful message. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom and a great week ahead, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.